Hello everyone, welcome to Basically Netta. I am Netta and this is my December wrap-up. Can't believe it's the end of the year. It's the end of 2023 and I'm here to talk about my last wrap-up and my last video of the year. I read 5 books this month and I had some rereads this month as well, but I'm not going to talk about those rereads. If you want to know more about them, you can go and watch that reread video that I did. I think it's 2 videos ago. You can go and check that out if you want. But in this video, I'm just going to talk about the 5 books that I had not read before and I just read them this month. The first book that I read in the month of December was Black Sun by Rebecca Roanhorse. This book is the first book of Between the Earth and Sky trilogy. It's inspired by the pre-Columbian American, not Americas, like the South Americas story and folklore. And so there are 3 POVs. 2 of them are female and 1 is a young man. And we start the prologue starts with the young man and his story. But then when we get to the actual story, the next chapter, it's the POV of the 2 female characters. And I think they're the gods. They represent the earth and sky. And I really didn't like those characters. And this story is character driven. It's literally talking about these characters all the time. We don't even get that young man until halfway point. We get more about him. What I liked about this book was the story of him and the cultural magic system that was coming through with him. Whereas like these 2 goddesses, I guess you want to call them, female characters, are not that interesting in my point of view anyways. If you like to go and try it out, go ahead. It's just like there's so much politics within one character and then you go to the other character and they're both so over the top that it just doesn't work. I wanted more of the magic system than those 2 characters. And we got way too much of those 2 characters and way too much of political views, and it just didn't work for me. I mean, I like plot-driven stories, and these just, if there was more, like the magic system was told more through these characters, I would have actually liked it more. Whereas now it's just said more about the characters, like as who they are as gods and goddesses and those kind of things, and the political system of those areas. It just didn't work for me. And I wanted more of the young boy and his part of that culture and that magic system. It was more interesting than these 2 females. That's why I gave it a 2-star rating, and that was just really hard for me to get through. And yeah, I mean, it's just my opinion. It's just my ideals of, like, it is a very popular book. That's why I'm just so surprised that it is written in the way that it is written. The second book that I read in the month of December was Britney Spears' memoir, The Woman in Me. This memoir is more for the fans than for anybody else. If you don't like Britney Spears, if you never were in her fandom or never listened to her music, wasn't, into her at any point of time, don't read this. This is for her fans. She is writing, like the writing of this book is very simple, and it is as if she's talking to the reader. That's why it might come off a little not very literary, as I would say. Like most memoirs are like written very well and those kind of things. This one isn't. This one is just like Britney being Britney. And she's talking to you like you're her best friend, and she's telling you her story of what happened to her during those times that these events happened. And yeah, she starts from when she's very young to like the end of her like her court battles and those kind of things, and what she's doing now. Like, it also talks about her relationships and her side of the story, about like her side of what actually happened to her and those kind of things. So if you don't like her, then don't read this. For me, it was satisfying because I was a very big fan of her when I was younger, so it also explained a lot of like what the media had just like exaggerated about her. So I mean, we all know she's Britney. She's not quite, academic, but it was interesting, and I gave it a 3-star. The third book that I read this month was the second book of the Great Cities duology by N.K. Jemisin, called The World We Make. And this story starts from 3 months from the last one. Like when the last one finishes, then this one starts. So we are still following the 5 boroughs of New York and how they're supposed to, save New York. And in this one, they're trying to save the world as well while saving New York. There's a lot more politics in this one. Mostly about like what it feels like living in New York and what are the different things that could happen to different kind of cultural people and those kind of things. And it still have that video game vibe where the evil, you have to, like, the magic system is in the video game feel of it. I felt like it was missing the otherworldly cities and those kind of things. It did touch on it a little bit with like Japan and those other, like, very small amount of those other cities were shown in this book. And I think it was because of the pandemic. She couldn't go to different places that she wanted to go. And the story suffered because of that. I just felt like it was going to go more into depth in those different cities of the world, yet we continued more with the boroughs of New York. Because of that, I just felt like it was the same thing. Like, it felt more of the same thing, saying again, and it just, I gave it a 3-star. It was okay. It just wasn't what I thought it would be. So it was a good time. That's it. The fourth book that I read this month was Sound for the Wild Built by Becky Chambers. This is a cozy sci-fi story novella about the relationship of a robot and a tea monk. The robots are living in the wilderness, and it's been centuries that they've been living in the wilderness without the humans being around them, and there's one robot that wants to know what it's like to live around the humans and how they feel, and he basically has a lot of questions. So he goes out of the wilderness and finds this tea monk who is also questioning his points of view and why he's doing what he's doing. So they meet, and it's about their relationship of meeting, and the plot goes, it's with them, and it's more of them, and it's a character-driven novella. You don't get a lot of plot in this one. It was cute. It was cozy. I gave it a 3-star because it was entertaining. It wasn't a big deal as I thought it would be. Everyone's just making a big deal about it, and I'm just like, it's a nice story. That's it. I mean, there wasn't much of ordinary science fiction into it, but if you like cozy relationship with a little bit of science fiction in it, then this is for you. And the fifth and last book that I read this month was The Jasmin Throne by Tasha Suri. This is also another character-driven plot line. I ended up reading a lot of character-driven books, which I don't really like. I had no idea what I'm doing. Anyways, this one is also very slow. I like the prologue. The prologue was giving me all about the characters as well as the magic system. I liked the magic system. I just wanted more of it instead of all the emotional things about the characters. It just made the plot go very slowly, and it wasn't necessary in my point of view. Those kind of things are not necessary. Keep the plot going. Give me more of the magic system, which was really fascinating. Yet it was made into a boring book because we're just talking about somebody's emotions. Okay, I get it. That one's sad. That one's upset. Okay, get it. Move on and tell me more about the magic. Anyways, yeah, if you like things that are character-driven, all these books are all the ones that I read this month were all character-driven. Feel free to pick them up. They were okay to me. This one was also okay. I think this one had a lot more potential than the other 2 or 3 or whatever that you want to pick up. I mean, 3 because 1 is a memoir. So, yeah, I gave this one a 3-star as well, just because I enjoyed a little bit of it, but then the character part I just didn't enjoy. So, yeah, those were all the 5 books that I read this month. If you liked any of them, let me know down below. If you read any of them and you want to talk about them, feel free to put them down in the comments as well. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. It helps down with the algorithm kind of thing. And if you like my if you would like to see more of my content, please subscribe, and thank you for watching. I will see you in the next year.